we had that on the menu. These are all multiple ingredients. But it took us not too long to figure out that if you're going to make a Long Island iced tea, you can take the vodka, the gin, the rum, the tequila, and the triple sec or quattro and put them all together. And they're right.
Of course, yeah.
And then you put 2.5 ounces, and then you add the Coca-Cola and the fresh lemon juice, and boom, you're done. We didn't figure that out for a while. We're grabbing all the. That was crazy, And then each of these drinks is Singapore Sling. It's another one. You got the gin, you got the Cointreau, you got the Benedictine, you got that. Put all these ingredients together in the right proportion, and then you grab the fresh ingredients at the moment of service. So we're giving great drinks. We're using fresh, but we're making it possible to serve great numbers of people quickly. So I had gallon jugs, Singapore Sling, gallon jug, Rainbow. We set them up so the bartender, and he can pour out the 2.5 ounces, whatever, and then add the fresh juice, and then boom, he's out. This was how we finally made it work because we're doing $27 million gross. I mean, this is a lot of cocktails.
How much?
Wow. We have multiple bars. We have 2 floors. We have private dining bars. In a single day, we could do
talking about just the Rainbow Room.
I'm talking about the Rainbow Room, the cabaret, the private dining, the bar. We could do 5,000 covers in one day. Between the 2 floors. There's a lot of business. It's a lot of business.
That's a lot of business. Yes, that's a lot of business. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to translate this part because it's certainly going to cause some excitement in some way. Ok, quindi appunto il discorso del pre-pace non fu una cosa a cui ci arrivarono subito, anche perché il banco, ci sono molti locali, specialmente negli Stati Uniti e in Inghilterra, dove abbiamo un banco bar che serve la gente al banco bar e poi c'è un altro banco che si fa il servizio in sala. Il banco bar aveva 16 sgabelli, a differenza del banco bar che serviva la sala e aveva 125 coperti. Di conseguenza sul banco bar dove servivano le persone sedute a sgabello, spesso e volentieri cercavano di fare tutto on the spot. A differenza del banco bar che serviva i 125 coperti, dove lì per motivi di praticità e velocità hanno dovuto iniziare a fare, anche come spiegava, avevano una cocktailista abbastanza impegnativa, Singapore Sling, a differenza di champagne cocktail, between the sheets, eccetera, eccetera. Quindi arrivarono al punto di doversi fare galloni, perché gli Stati Uniti vanno di moda i galloni di ogni cocktail e aggiungendo soltanto una parte fresca all'ultimo momento, come per esempio nel caso del Long Island, drink molto molto apprezzato dai clienti europei. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a learning process, and we had a great team. It was the beginning of the team idea because when I started tending bar, there was no team. As a matter of fact, a lot of times with these neighborhood bars, they would pit one bartender against another. In other words, you got your register, he's got his register. It's a Saturday night. The boss morning says, "Listen, on Saturday night, Joe rang up $8,000 on his register. You ran up 6,000. What's the matter with you?"
Yeah.
It was a competition. Yeah. It was a competition. Yeah. It wasn't a team, Now with the craft community, it's totally different. I mean, what surprised me the most about the emergence of the craft community, and by the way, the reason I talked about the culinary side so much, and then, the new craft of the cocktail comes out in September. It's called the new craft of the
Congratulations.
It's available on Amazon now. But what I talk about in there is exactly this, that our craft cocktail movement exists because there was a culinary revolution that happened right before. In the 30 years before the new millennium, there was a huge explosion of creativity on the culinary side of the business around the world, not just in the United States, everywhere. I mean, we had suddenly French techniques with Pacific Rim ingredients, and we had Tex-Mex, and we had fusion, and every kind of ethnic cuisine. Everything was available to the diner all of a sudden, and all fresh ingredients from around the world coming to New York, and to Paris and to London, and all this excitement. Star chefs, the whole thing. It was amazing, and what they did is they created a massive audience of people in love with big flavor, real ingredients, honest recipes. And then they go to the bar and they order a margarita. And the bartender, in the United States anyway, he picks up a soda gun. He pushes a button and this green stuff comes out, right?
Wow.
That's the sour mix, right? So he makes the margarita and the person's like, hold the phone here. Those little round things called limes. So what happened was there was a lot of pressure coming from the people to move the bar in the same direction that the culinary. And that's why at the Rainbow Room we were doing that. Nothing but fresh. Old real recipes, honest recipes. You know, these are recipes people hadn't tasted. Some since before Prohibition, to tell you the truth. Some just after Prohibition. A lot of those ingredients didn't exist anymore after Prohibition, so they couldn't even make these. You know, so with the craft movement came an explosion of new spirits and old spirits back to the market. You know, so they created our audience for us.
Diciamo che queste fusioni, tra virgolette, di tipologie di cucine diverse, come era la cucina francese, a differenza della cucina italiana, come sappiamo, il chef o comunque il mondo culinario è sempre stato qualche passo avanti confronto a noi del bar, e quando arrivavano i clienti al banco bar, in qualche maniera in parte pretendevano che i cocktail venissero fatti freschi, con prodotti freschi, a differenza di utilizzare il sour mix che arrivava direttamente dal soda gun, che comunque non era un elemento di freschezza in nessuna maniera. Di conseguenza già lì diciamo che le richieste stavano già iniziando ad essere comunque un po' più elevate. Il livello richiesto era molto alto, specialmente in quel del Rainbow. Mr. Dale, excuse me for saying this, but unfortunately Instagram is only giving us an hour. Okay. No. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure we hit that time. I just wouldn't want to, cut this short all of a sudden, sort of thing. Well, I'd be happy. Should you have the time, perhaps do a second appointment. I'm just gonna try and ask you possibly one more question.
Sure.
So you mentioned so many fantastic drinks. I'm a classic mixology guy. I'm a Manhattan. I'm a Sazerac, etc., kind of person. How do you think the way we drink has evolved? I see a lot of bartenders these days. What's your perception of the constant search for perfection? Everybody's always looking for the perfection. And sometimes I think, especially in Europe, we kind of forget why we're behind a bar in the first place. You see what I mean?
To be a successful bartender, you got to like people. You've got to be able to make friends of difficult people. You've got to have a long list of skills. One of them is the ability to read people and to understand them, what they need to have a good time. You need to be a bit of a diplomat. You all know that, But there's something else. While you're doing all this and while you're practicing your skills, your shaking skills and your blending and your flavor, we should take flavor courses just like a chef, because we're about flavors. We should be tasting. So many bartenders don't taste everything on their back bar. We should know on their back bar and exactly what goes together. But in the end, of course, things. That strip of mahogany or zinc or marble or whatever it is, it better be full on the other side. Number one.
Yeah.
If it's not full, you're going to go out of business. Number two, what you push across that bar has to have a high degree of deliciousness. Call it perfection, call it whatever you want. It's got to be delicious. And that's the deal. All of your work is towards creating happiness and creating a drink that has a high degree of deliciousness. You have the garage repair. When I was talking to young bartenders at the Rainbow Room and everywhere else, the sours were always the ones that separate the men from the boys. I mean, if you can make a great sour, the balance. And I said, you look at the customer's